Hi guys, welcome to another video. You should not ever be able to make money on a luxury bag. Surely, if you've bought something, it becomes pre-loved, it becomes second-hand, it becomes used. You will never be able to sell it and make money. Or can you? Let's get going. There has been so many discussions over how to sell your bags, how to make money on your bags, how to get your money back, how not to lose too much money. And at the end of the day, we've been talking about pre-love market, resellers, their role in this, the commissions that they make. When you look at certain luxury brands, you will never ever make any money on these bags if you want to resell in the future. No matter what you do, you can keep it pristine in the box, never used, all wrapped up. It makes no difference. It will not sell for a profit. It just won't. You may get some money back, but you will not get your money back. Certain brands you will always caveat, you generally will always get your money back. Why is it that certain ones are a certain way and some are not? Well, we go around in circles about this, don't we? But let's break some of it down, because yeah, I've had very varying experience with selling bags, and I have made money. I've also lost a lot of money on selling bags, and most of the time I get back something and I feel like I've got a good deal. So how can you get a good deal and yet lose lots of money? I'm going to explain. You generally will not be thinking about resale value, or you might. Some people always buy just thinking about what they could resell it for. Some people are doing that because they want to make money. Some people it's like a strategic thing. Some people are more, it's in the back of their mind that if they want to sell it in the future, that they can get out of it. And that's what I've done more recently, is bought bags that I haven't been 100% about on the knowledge that it's a sought after bag, it's sold out, it's popular, it's unavailable, all of those things that make it desirable, and therefore I can get my money back, hopefully, or at least most of my money, so that I feel a bit more secure in buying it in the first place. And I want to get away from that, and that is the discussion that I've had with my own self, and that is what is brought on this video, because I don't want to be into buying and selling and buying something for the wrong reasons and trying to think about resale value. I want to get back to what I've done the whole time with all of these, which is buy the bag you love. Use it, don't use it, whatever you want to do, and in time, if it doesn't work for you anymore, of course sell it. That is the mindset I'm trying to get into. But when I have made mistakes, and when I have decided, or even if I haven't made a mistake and it's just a certain bag has run its course, I've had such varying experience in selling bags. But let's go back to the whole crux of this. The minute you buy an item in a store at retail price, remember it's at retail price, and a lot of us pay VAT or we pay sales tax if we're in the USA, none of us expect that that bag is going to be worth more the minute that you walk out the door. It's like a car. The minute you drive it off the forecourt, it's lost money. It depreciates. It's a used good. It is second hand. It is not new from store anymore. And no matter what you do, you can keep it pristine. You have bought it already. It is not new anymore. And yes, you can say it's new from store, as in it hasn't been used and it's been kept as new. But most of the time when we walk out of any store with anything at all, whether it's luxury goods or not, they are not worth what you've just paid for them. So none of us should be buying any of these things with that in mind. We should be buying knowing that we are happy to pay that price for that item at that moment in time, and that money's then gone. We're not buying these things, or in my view, we shouldn't be buying luxury handbags as investments, because they are not. In my experience, I have made money on bags, but it is very few and far between, and I will explain why. However, I have also lost loads of money, and as I alluded to before, there are times that I have lost quite a lot of money, but I feel like I've done a good deal. And how can that be? It feels wrong, doesn't it? You've lost so much money in what you paid, but because I know that these things depreciate, and I think once that money's spent, it's spent, most things that we buy are not going to be worth even a fraction. Even if it was some clothing, nothing luxury, just some off the peg clothes that you decide to sell on eBay or Vinted or whatever, you're selling them at a fraction of what you bought them for. None of these things are ever going to make money, but because you in your head you think that money's already gone and been spent, anything that you get back after the event feels like a bonus. So that is how it should be with pre-loved items. They should be sold at a technical loss, but you feel like you're happy with the amount that you've got for it, and the person buying feels like they've got a good deal, and that is the best deal overall, that you're both happy with the price, because that way the person knows they're buying something that is pre-loved, that has been not necessarily used, but it is owned by somebody else. It has an owner, and therefore they want a bargain. They want to be able to get their hands on something and not have to pay full price for it. That is what the second-hand market is all about. It's all about bartering and, you know, both people getting a decent deal and everything. And unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, it's turned into a multi-million and billion-pound industry where resellers have seen that there is a value in being in this industry. So where the money is made is not you and me. If I decide I'm going to sell this classic flat, and yes, we'll talk about prices of things in a second, but anything that if I use a reseller, then whatever I sell this for, the only person making money from that is a reseller with their commission. When you look at luxury bags, the luxury bag as it stands, even this gorgeous one here, this is not worth the money that I paid for it. And what I mean by that is the materials used in this are not precious metals. They're not worth anything on their own. This is fabric, it's sequins, it's some metalwork, some leather. What I actually am paying for with this is the brand and the experience and just I don't know, just the fact that it's Chanel, the brand and the marketing and all of that. And yes, it's beautiful quality, but it is not worth the money that I paid for it. It's just not. So when you come to sell it, it's still not worth, like for example, jewelry is completely different. Precious metals are different because they're tangibly worth something because they are made out of a precious metal. A diamond, whether it's gold or whatever it is, it has an intrinsic value, where fabric and bit of metalwork, and there's nothing in this that is actually worth something. So the only reason that this will command any resale value at all is the same reason I wanted to buy it, which is the brand, the marketing, the availability, the style of it, all the status, all of those things. So if that has changed, it's sort of subject to change with luxury bags, because at some point availability will change, or the brand out there, you know, sometimes look at Balenciaga. It was never one of the top brands for me anyway, but something can happen and it taints the image and the reputation of that brand. So that can be damaged, in which case the value of any of their things may not be as much as it used to be. So there are things that can change, and that means that, you know, it's even things like certain designs come back around. So certain things are just super hot and they sell out, and sometimes you think, I don't really know why. And then other things seem really nice and they are made in the same way and probably made by the same people, and they're using the same materials, but they're not desirable in the same way as other things are, and that is branding and marketing. So what I'm trying to say with all of this is that there isn't an intrinsic value in these things. So none of us should be making money on them. We shouldn't. But what we can say is, we'll talk about Hermès separately as a way to actually make money. We all know about Hermès. But something like Chanel, if you keep something long enough and that brand continues to keep their reputation intact and all the rest of it, so many variables, but if it does somewhere like Chanel, I will probably be able to get my money back on this by now. I've had this, is it 7 or 8 years? I keep thinking I need to go back and have a look, but I've had this quite a few years. It might even be 8 years, something like that. And I paid in the region of £4,500 for this, which was such a lot of money at the time, and it's still a lot of money, but these are now £10,000 to buy in store. Chanel have just hiked all their prices up. They have tried to make it a bit more exclusive and everything else, and for me they're just not worth the money, but that's a whole other argument. So what it does mean is this jumbo classic flap in the beautiful caviar with silver hardware, I think with minimal wear to it, with, yes, it's 8 years old, but it's still very beautiful, the condition is fantastic, surely I could get half of the new retail price of this, because that is a real bargain to somebody. And something paying £5,000, for example, for a second-hand bag, how can that be a bargain? But it feels like it is, doesn't it, compared to having to buy one in store. So I haven't looked exactly, because I don't want to sell this bag, but I suspect I could just about get my money back on this now. And that is literally, it's not necessarily availability, it's just the prices have gone up so much in the years since I bought this that I've kept it long enough that even the second-hand prices, even if you slash more than a half off the retail price, I still just about wash its face with it, if that makes sense. So you can just about get your money back if you wait long enough and if all the different variables are in your favour. Let's quickly talk about Hermès, because I think, let's just grab a couple of bags. So the Birkin, the Kelly is here. You should be able to make money on Hermès bags. If you are lucky enough to be able to get one direct from store and you are paying the price, the retail price of something like this was in the region of 7,000 something or 8,000, I think these are 9 or nearer 10,000 now, I think. But anyway, I think this was, let's call it 8,000 because I can't exactly remember. That is such a lot of money. But you see any Birkin 30 in any colour, in any leather, if you have a look on the resale market, especially one that's in really good condition, even one that isn't in good condition, even a really old battered vintage version, they're all way over 8,000. Sometimes you can get double that amount. So yeah, I think you should always be able to make money on Hermès bags. Why can we do that? Well, it's an anomaly, and it should be an anomaly. But the reason it is like that is because we've all played into it. We've all played into the mystique of Hermès bags, and they play these silly games where you have to do this song and dance with them in order to get yourself on the wish list, and hopefully that you might be offered a bag at some point. And as myself and my friend Amelia, we have just both shown it can take years. For me, it took a couple of weeks from the very beginning when I got my first Kelly, and now it is 3 years since my last quote bag offer, and I've had constant wish lists since then and nothing. So we are talking 3 years, and Amelia had to wait nearly 5 years for her offer of the mini Kelly. Nearly 5 years. It's just bonkers, but that is how Hermès works. But if you get your hands on one of those bags direct from store, particularly if you keep it in its box and take it straight from store down to, I don't know, one of the resellers, Luxury Promise or Cellier or Bag East or somewhere like that, they will offer you such a decent amount because they're still going to make their money. So bear that in mind, but they will absolutely give you much more than you've just paid for it, because they can sell them for at least double, which means that there's a decent amount of profit in it for them and a decent amount of profit in it for you. So that is the only time that you can make money. So I think what I'm trying to say with this, and this alluded to a video that Amelia did recently about the resale market sort of coming back into what it was supposed to be in the whole place, and actually we had this silly surge of ridiculous prices because of COVID and people buying and buying and buying and prices going up and all of the rest of it. And it's settling back down now into what it should be. And yeah, I've talked about my Dior DJoy, and it is wrapped up over there in a box because I am not using it, because I am thinking, well, I'm not thinking of selling it, I am trying to sell it, and I cannot sell it even for half the price that I paid for it. And yeah, part of me thinks, well, that's about right, because it's a bag that is technically pre-loved, but I literally have used it once, I think once. It is immaculate, it's pristine, it is beautiful. I paid 4,300 for it, which is probably, yeah, my own fault for doing that, but that bag is absolutely pristine, beautiful, etc. And it is not available to buy in store anymore because that colour has gone, and nobody wants to buy it for even half of the price. So do I look at that as I'm making at least a £2,000 loss, which just feels awful, doesn't it? Or do I look at it that if I could sell it at a £2,000 loss, then that's £2,300 that I've actually made, because once I've paid that money, in my head it should have been gone because I've bought it. And any money coming back is a bonus. At the moment, I'm in two minds because I do not want to give it away. And when I say give it away, I'm not going to sell it for less than £2,000. I'm just not. I will just keep it. But part of me is scratching my head and thinking, but even if I sold it for maybe £1,500, well, that's £1,500 in my bank rather than it sat on a shelf. But it feels like such a loss that I can't bring myself to do it. Anyway, the answer to the question is you can make money on luxury bags, but they are few and far between, and they're usually Hermès, and they're usually because of availability problems and desire and all the rest of it, desirability of them. But it is not the norm. So please do not buy a bag with the intention to sell, because you'll just lose money. So get away from this buying to sell. Just think of buying what you love. Are you happy to pay the price for it at the time? If you're happy with what it is, are you happy to buy it, you love the bag, even if it doesn't work out down the line, that money's gone. Think of it, that money's gone. Anything that comes back for it is a bonus. So yes, you can make money, but no, you probably shouldn't make money. There we have it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on another one.